Chicago's 13,000 police officers have a new president of their union. His name is John Catanzara, and he comes with a little bit of controversy. He's right now stripped of his police powers after challenging former police superintendent Eddie Johnson, accusing him of taking part in an illegal protest on the Dan Ryan. During his 25 years on the force, he's been repeatedly disciplined as well as suspended. Nonetheless, he won a majority of the vote, 55% of the vote, from the rank and file.
And John Catanzara joins us live now. John, thanks for being with us. Do you think your victory shows cops want someone to aggressively push back against the superintendent, City Hall, even the rules?
I don't think you can really look at it any other way, to be honest with you, Ben. The membership for a long time has complained the FOP does not speak out on their behalf. I think I offer that and quite a bit more. So I plan on giving them everything they hope for and then some.
Okay, we'll talk a little bit more about that, but there hasn't been a contract in 3 years. Now we're dealing with sort of the COVID pandemic. How do you think that will factor into negotiations, and how do you handle that? How do you approach that?
Well, negotiations obviously have been stalled for quite some time. We demanded arbitration in December. The city did not accept our first request for an arbitrator. We tendered a second name, which never got responded to. So I notified the department that we were going to withdraw that request for the second name and go back to negotiating as a new team, kind of take a fresh look and approach at it. And hopefully, we can get something done short of arbitration in the very near future for members.
So you and the city are talking one-on-one now in this negotiation as opposed to going through an arbitrator?
Well, one-on-one, obviously, our body versus their body, but our negotiating team is made up of just more than me. Attorney and members, obviously, up at the lodge specifically, and then the city has their own team. But it's basically our team with their team.
The new superintendent in from Dallas, David Brown, talks about restoring trust and treating everyone, including criminals, he told me, with respect. How do you think police win back the trust of the community? What does that look like to you?
Well, I think, this COVID thing has actually given us the ability to try and show the public that the police aren't the enemy. We're not the ones that want to keep them in their houses. We're not the ones that want to break up their little backyard parties. It's the politicians. It's not us. I understand there's a health crisis and something needs to be done, but I'll go on record repeatedly saying that I believe the governor and the mayor are promoting unconstitutional policies and definitely violating people's rights and forcing the police department to enforce them when we really shouldn't be. I don't know how that pans out in the long run. There should be a middle ground in here somewhere. But, Superintendent Brown also gave me assurances that CPD members will not be required to arrest people who want to go to church going forward. So I hope that stays the way it is because, again, people do have constitutional rights in this country.
Okay, so it sounds like you're being critical of the mayor. You, of course, will have to negotiate with her. You said you met with her already. What was that exchange like?
No, I met with Superintendent Brown. I did not meet with the mayor yet. That meeting is still pending. It's not necessarily being critical of the mayor. Like I said, I understand what she's trying to accomplish here. But again, there has to be a middle ground. It cannot just be a dictatorial statement that this is the way it's going to be. And you don't get to recreate laws. There's legislative bodies that promote, whether it's municipal ordinances at City Hall or obviously downstate in Springfield or in Washington, D.C. One person does not get to arbitrarily decide what the new law is going forward.
Your officers are going to be operating under a consent decree that former Mayor Rahm Emanuel helped draft. Are there any reforms, and I use the air quotes because I know one person's reform is another person's handcuffs, in your opinion, but are there any reforms that are in that consent decree or have been floated by the mayor that you say, yeah, I think we can do that. I think we can get behind that?
Well, I've never been necessarily opposed to training. If the department wants to send members for 40, 80 hours of training, so be it. I think training is a good thing. We obviously lacked it for quite some time. After 25 years on this job, training pretty much consisted of sitting in front of a computer and watching a computer video and basically saying, I just got trained on that topic, or reading a order online, which was kind of ridiculous. So again, I think more hands-on training needs to be done going forward to kind of prevent maybe some incidents from happening. It's never a bad thing.
Okay, John Catanzara, the new leader of the FOP, joining us here this afternoon. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good afternoon.